Welcome back to another NaytonTech vlog. This is vlog number 15. It has been a couple months since I put out a vlog or a video. Been kind of busy. I got a bunch of products I've been working on and a couple custom things that I've been doing. A lot of stuff on the website that I've been updating. So we're going to go over some of that, some of the things I'm planning on adding here soon. Let's go over some of the products that I've got coming out here soon. This is probably the most popular one on social media right now. This is what I'm calling the ebrake cup holder. This goes right under the ebrake. Actually, it takes the place of this cover right under the ebrake. The way this works, so here's your center console. And these two little pegs here on the bottom just go in. Sits just like that, and you got your two factory screw holes. I will be including longer screws so you can mount this correctly with the correct thread type and all that. I do have one of these that has already been sent out to a guy to test in a CRX. I'll be sending this one out here in a couple days to a guy in a wagon to test. The biggest thing that basically is going to be adjustments is this side cut here, so that it matches the seats. I'm probably going to end up having to move these further forward because in my sedan, at least for the 9091s, in my sedan, if I put the passenger seat all the way forward, the automatic seat belts do hit this. I believe it's probably going to be the biggest hurdle for the hatchbacks since they do have a back seat, and that front seat has to go quite a bit further forward, I think, than even the sedans do. So that's going to be probably the differences between some of the different models for this guy. This one should be out pretty soon. This is pretty close to a final prototype. We're just doing the final testing now to see if we have to make any tweaks to move this further back. But there's not much more I can do as far as design on the cups and whatnot. Now it's just down to placement. The other big piece that I've got coming out, and this is more of a modification to an old one. A lot of you guys recognize this dual cup holder that replaces the rear ashtray. This one has a hole in it for a dual USB charger. I also have a blank. This is just kind of a cover that goes back there, replaces the ashtray. Has the same hole that you can put. There's quite a bit of these chargers on Amazon. This is one of the nicer ones that I found. This is a Quick Charge 3.0. Has two of them on it, just uses a standard 12 volt connections here, power and ground, 12 volt power and ground, using spade connectors. Basically just pops in like so. I do it upside down, but goes in just like that. There is a plastic nut that goes in and holds it on the back, and you're done. I will actually be assembling these before I send them out, so you guys really won't have to worry about that. But just so you kind of know what goes into it. It does include a cover. If you guys are wanting, this will all be included with it. But this is more for like your extra, if you want to put this on a boat or something like that. These are kind of universal. But this will be in there, as well as the wiring harness that is included. This probably will not be long enough to reach the front to the rear. You'll have to extend it. But these are your two spade connectors that will connect on there for the positive and negative. You can connect this, and I'll kind of move into another little piece here. You can connect it to the same power source that you use for the factory, the cigarette lighter right here. What I have done on this one, this is a hatchback sedan center console. What I did is I honed this out just a little bit with one of these bits, and now I can put that same dual USB charger. I'll show you what that looks like installed, like so. Main reason why I'm wanting to do this is with the cigarette lighter in here, and then the 12, your chargers that just slide into those, it kicks my charging cable, way out here. With this one being as far back as it is, the hard part of that charging cable stays up against here, and then the cable's out, and it doesn't hit any of my cups, especially if I got larger cups in there. It won't interfere as much. So plus it's all in one piece. I don't have to worry about pulling the other one in and out all the time. So these are about $13. I'm not charging anything extra for these. I'm not making any money off of selling these guys. You can buy them off of Amazon the same price I do. Basically what you're paying is just this, the same price I pay, and then the same price that these normally are. These are normally $30. This one's only going to be $10, and then the $14 that this guy is. If you're looking, I think I have them on the website. These are $24. These are orderable right now. These are $24. There is going to be the tall and the short version. If you've got the 88, 89, or I think a CRX runs the short version. This is the tall. The tall is only available in the dual cup holder. I do not have a short one because it sits where this piece is. This sits further forward because of the style of the center console, and the seats actually hit the cup. So I actually discontinued that piece because it just didn't fit. So if you can swap your consoles out if you want. If you do want to do a cup holder, pick up a 9091 center console, and then you can run this piece. And these, the dual cup holders are $44 with the dual USB charger built into them. Let's see, the next piece, I'm going to be kind of going through these quick. I don't want to make this video too terribly long. This is one other amazing piece that I just happened to come up with. This is a auto to manual shifter hole cover. For any of you guys that have done an auto to manual conversion on your EFs, you'll know that there are two holes that you have to cover, and there isn't really any good way to, well, there is now, but there wasn't any good way to cover them before. Since February, I've been running mine with duct tape over it until I could kind of come up with a better solution. This is what I came up with. There are 6 holes, so once you remove the auto shifter, there's a massive hole in the back, and then there's a cover that the actual shifter cable goes through. This covers up both of those. You actually use the factory manual. There's a shift boot, like it's a rubber boot that goes on here. It actually goes over this lip, and then there's a lip on the shift linkage itself that it connects to, so it completely covers that hole. There are six holes that you're going to put bolts in. I now will include that hardware. There will be 6 bolts and nuts. I'm probably going to use ones that have Teflon on them. The nuts with the Teflon, so these guys don't back out at all. Lock washers, I don't think are going to work very well with this plastic, so I think Teflon's going to work. The other cool thing that this does is it also includes the piece that you need to mount the front of your console. And this one doesn't have it. Anyway, the front of the console where the 2 factory screws are, this includes that piece. When you remove the automatic shift box, it has this built onto it, so you can't remove it. Normally you would go to a manual car and you would take the shift boot and this guy, and you'd have to mount both of those so that you could put everything back together like factory. This is all in one piece. You still will have to find this rubber boot. I will not be selling those. I cannot print those. So you have to find one of those at the junkyard, but I believe there's quite a few different models that you can get that from. But it does include this piece, so once you mount this, you're golden. I do have one of these out. This is going to be actually going out to a DA Integra to be tested. It looks like it's got the same size hole as the EFs, so we might get lucky and be able to use the same piece for both. If not, I will make the appropriate tweaks. I'm also be looking at making it for EG, EK, and DC, as long as I can find some cars to test with. If you guys do have one of those cars, message me below or PM me on any social media. See if we can get something going. Next piece. Let's see. If you guys recognize this is the top of the steering column cover, the top steering column cover. This is for an 8889. I just happened to be at the junkyard and picked one of these up. My plan with one of these is I actually want to put a dual gauge pod, kind of like a 10 and 2 or 1 and 11 spot, slightly tilted up, but I want it just as far forward as I can, where you can see the gauges right in that top hole of the steering, the steering wheel, but down enough to where they're not interfering with your gauge cluster. So my plan is I'm going to get a couple gauges, even if they're just the cheap ones. If you guys have any broken ones, let me know. Might be able to use them. But my plan is either to remake this or make an overlay that sits over the top, maybe double-sided sticky tape down so you guys aren't modifying this. These are probably pretty easy to come by, so we might put screws in the side. We'll see how everything works. But I want the 2 gauge pods to be as inconspicuous as possible, as low as possible, but where you can still see them. So this is something I'll be working on. I will be making this for the 8889s because they have your emergency switch there, emergency light switch, and then the 9091s that don't have that switch. There'll be 2 different models at a minimum. Hopefully that's all I have to make. Hopefully these are the same between all the different models, but we'll test and see. Knowing Honda, there's probably going to have to be a bunch of different variants. Before I hop over, I got one other piece that's going to be an overhead console. You guys have seen some pictures on social media if you follow me. I've got a little clip of it installed. I'm going to hop over to here in just a minute, but a couple of things I want to add that I'm going to be adding to the website are things like this. Things that you can, upgrade your EF. Just upgrades, different tweaks, kind of a tips and tricks how-to section on the website. I'm hoping to get it added here in the next few weeks. Most of the stuff I have to do manual coding, so it takes a little bit longer. But I'm planning on adding things like that, links. I've owned an EF since 1999, so I've done a lot of things with them. If you guys have any questions, hit me up anytime. Well, not anytime, but during the day. 3 o'clock in the morning is probably a little bit late for me, but I want to be adding some stuff like that, information, things that you guys can do to the website. I'll be adding, I've already got a section up for pictures that you guys have taken of your cars with the NaytonTech products in there. So I'm waiting for, slowly collecting pictures to add to that. Slowly adding a few other cars, but my main focus is the EF and DAs. I've got a bunch of guys asking me about DC, upgraded cup holders for the DCs and the EGs, so I will be working on those. I did find a DC center console, so I just have to go pick that up for my buddy, so I can start playing with that, see if I can make anything better for those. And I do have an EG console. I'm still playing with some of the different ideas and making it work how I want in the 3D graphics program. It's kind of being a little bit of a pain. So let's hop over and take a look at that console, the overhead console. It should be available here pretty soon. I'm testing it right now. Alright guys, here's a quick view of the overhead console. You'll notice that I got it to fit this contour line very well. Same on both sides, they're both equal. There's a quick look kind of inside. My sunglasses in there. I am going to be including some felt. It's tapered, it's kind of nice round, all the edges inside here round, so I'm actually going to put some felt probably halfway around or up the sides and under this. I do get a little bit of vibration from my sunglasses in there, just vibrating on the plastic. This does have, it is a 2-piece system, so there is a piece on top that's probably only about 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters thick, where the 4 holes for the screws come through. It is kind of a square piece, and I will show a picture of it here on the side of what it looks like on the other side, but there are 4 screws that hold this. Refocus. There we go. So you can't pull this through. The worst case scenario, you're going to strip the screws out of the plastic here, but it's not going to rip through your headliner. I had kind of designed this where it installs like your drop-down DVD players or drop-down screens in the cars, where it has a full piece of plastic on the other side that you just can't pull through. Right here is going to be a reading light and a dome light. Same thing on the other side, and I designed these locations specifically so like this one here, the driver cannot see it. So if your passenger wants to read a book or look at something that they need a light on, this LED will not interfere with the driver one bit. They can't see it. And then there's another one right here that is going to be an ambient light. If any of you have been in some of the newer Hondas or cars, there is an ambient light. In my 2005 Pilot, it's green, but it actually shines straight down onto the center console here and lights it up just enough to where you can see it at night, but it doesn't actually light it up. Like, it's just very, very light. Well, in the Pilot, it's green. This one will be white, but it's just enough to where you can kind of see the contour of everything down here, but it doesn't actually light it up really. Pretty much because since in our Civics, everything below the radio is just pitch black. So I'm going to test that out and see. I may have to make some adjustments on how bright it is, but for the most part, it's just going to be those three. I'm hoping that'll be enough. You know, if I have to, I might add, you know, where there's 2 on each one. But that's the plan for that. If you guys have any suggestions for this, make sure you post it below. I am thinking about I'm trying to figure out how to do it where there's like a insurance card and registration spot on this somewhere, but I haven't figured out how to do it yet. So any suggestions would be awesome there. If you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions, any parts that you guys want to make. Oh, one last thing. I am going to be working on some various other gauge pods. A few people have asked left and right, or probably not the right vent, but the left vent, possibly making one there. The center vent, I'm probably going to make a dual and a triple gauge pod for that. It'll completely replace the vent. I am going to be adding my phone holder, my EF phone holder, to the website here soon. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll post a picture up right here of kind of a basic view on it. Each one of those is made specifically for your phone, so I'll actually be getting measurements from your phone and then making them custom. They are a no modification install. They clip onto, actually, so it clips on, kind of think of it as it actually just hooks onto the back here and just sits on it. So pressure fits up against here and hooks back here. I don't know if I can get you guys the right lighting on this. It hooks in between a couple of these fingers here. So it actually would hook in so it locks, so it doesn't go side to side. And then it just kind of pops in, has a little half circle that lines up right here and just sits there. No tape, no screws, no anything. You just have to pull this out a little bit, hook it on, push it down, done deal. So that will be added to the website here in the next week or so as well. They're about $20 shipped. I'm not charging any extra shipping for those. It's just a flat $20 shipped. Let's see. That's pretty much all the big stuff that I've got going on. Definitely follow me on social media. I am on Instagram quite a bit. I post a lot of pictures there. I try to post a lot of the same pictures on my Facebook page. And then a video here. I'm going to try to do once a week. I know I haven't been the best at it, but that's what I would like to do depending on how hectic things are. So hit me up if you guys have any suggestions, any questions. If this piece will fit your car, definitely hit me up. I am looking for people to do prototype testing for me all the time. So if you see a product that I'm in prototyping and it's something you think you can use, definitely hit me up. Especially for things like this where we're going to have to test for a bunch of different cars. Not a lot of guys have the auto to manuals or are actually in the process of that right now. So it helps if you're doing the auto to manual conversion right now, or I've done it recently, where you can test it and send me pictures and whatnot. If you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and ring that bell so anytime I put out a video, you guys are getting updates. Follow me on all the social media so you guys can keep up to date with what I'm doing. I have tons of more ideas for the EFs. This is just scratching the surface. So keep following me if you guys want to see some more stuff that I'm coming out with. Until next time, we'll see you later.